The secrets of Lilith. Have you ever heard of Lilith? A figure surrounded by mysteries, myths, and controversies. Some say she was Adam's first wife. Others believe she is a powerful and dark entity. Today, we will unveil the secrets of Lilith. Prepare to enter a world where mythology and reality meet. Subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss anything. The name Lilith appears for the first time in ancient Mesopotamian texts. There, she is described as a spirit of the night wind, dangerous but also seductive. When we come to Judaism, Lilith gains new meanings. In the book of Isaiah, we find an intriguing reference. The beasts of the desert will meet hyenas, and there will rest Lilith. But what does this really mean? Many believe that Lilith is much more than just a mythical creature. She represents the dark side of femininity, the rebellion against control and norms. Lilith and Adam. One of the most fascinating legends about Lilith emerges from the alphabet of Ben Sira, a medieval text that tells a unique story about creation and the first human relationships. According to this story, Lilith was created as Adam's first companion, molded from the same clay as him, thus sharing an egalitarian essence. This detail is crucial, as it establishes from the beginning the parity between Lilith and Adam, something that would become the center of their conflict. Unlike Eve, who was created from Adam's rib and who, in the traditional biblical narrative, symbolizes submission, Lilith vehemently rejected any attempt at subordination. For her, the fact that they were created from the same matter meant that they should live as equals, sharing power and decisions equally. However, Adam did not share this view. He demanded that Lilith submit to him, occupying a position of inferiority, as if this were the natural order of things. Lilith's refusal to accept this dynamic triggered the great conflict. When Adam tried to dominate her, either by force or by imposing authority, Lilith took an action that would mark her history indelibly. She pronounced the ineffable name of God, an act of power and knowledge that connected her directly to the divine, and flew away from Eden. This gesture was not just an escape, it was a declaration of independence and a break with the oppressive structure that had been imposed on her. This act of rebellion transformed Lilith into a polarizing figure. For some, especially within religious traditions that emphasized feminine obedience, she came to be seen as a threat, associated with chaos, disobedience, and even darkness. In many versions of the legend, she became a demonized figure, portrayed as dangerous and seductive, an enemy of the divine order. On the other hand, for many, especially in more modern contexts, Lilith is a deeply inspiring figure. Her act of defiance against Adam and her refusal to accept a subservient role transformed her into a symbol of resistance, freedom, and female empowerment. Lilith came to be celebrated as the embodiment of the struggle against oppression and arbitrary authority, a reminder that the pursuit of equality can require courage and sacrifice. Lilith in popular culture. Today, Lilith transcends her role in ancient legends and lives on in a vast mosaic of interpretations in popular culture, each enriching and at the same time challenging her original essence. Her presence is felt in television series, video games, music, and even in contemporary literature, demonstrating her timeless relevance. In series such as Supernatural, Lilith is portrayed as a force of power and terror, personifying the confrontation with the unknown and the uncontrollable. In True Blood, she appears in a context where the supernatural intertwines with themes of desire, identity, and the struggle for acceptance, resonating with deeply human issues. In video games, Lilith often plays the role of a powerful figure, surrounded by mystery and danger. Whether as an anti-heroine or an antagonist, she is used to explore themes of freedom, strength, and, at times, the ethical limits of power. Her influence in music is equally rich. Artists of different styles evoke Lilith to address themes such as emancipation, sensuality, and the fight against social norms. Her name and story have become synonymous with boldness, resistance, and, for some, subversion. The fascination with Lilith, however, goes beyond her simple presence in the media. Each new interpretation of her not only recreates the original myth, but also shapes it according to the values, fears, and aspirations of the society that recreates her. In the medieval context, Lilith was often associated with sin, seduction, and the threat to the divine order, a representation that reflected the fears of a deeply patriarchal society. In the modern world, however, she has transformed. She has become an icon of female empowerment, a heroine for those who challenge social impositions and fight for equality. For many, Lilith represents freedom in its purest and most radical form. She is the embodiment of the rebellious spirit that refuses to be controlled, even in the face of great consequences. This interpretation resonates particularly with feminist movements and activists who see in her a figure of strength and courage. Lilith has become a symbol for those who face oppressive structures, an archetype of resistance against any attempt at domination. She reminds us that freedom often demands sacrifices and that the right to be who we are is not always granted peacefully. Yet for others, Lilith is a figure fraught with ambiguity and danger. She is seen as a warning of the risks of challenging the established order, of breaking the boundaries that sustain social harmony. From this perspective, Lilith embodies chaos, unbridled individualism, and the rejection of any kind of communal responsibility. This duality, of being both an inspiration and a warning, is what makes Lilith such a complex and rich figure. Lilith also challenges the line between the human and the divine, the mundane and the supernatural. By pronouncing the ineffable name of God and leaving Eden, she not only asserted her right to freedom, but also positioned herself as a figure connected to the divine, yet outside the established norms. This connection to the sacred, combined with her refusal to be subjugated, continues to inspire debates about power, spirituality, and the role of women in history and religion. Thus, Lilith's story is more than just an ancient legend. It is a living narrative, adapting and evolving with the times, reflecting the changes and challenges of each era. Lilith is both a symbol of freedom and a reminder of the power of choice, a figure who continues to challenge us to think about what it truly means to be free. Her journey from the clay of Eden to the vast imagery of contemporary culture is a testament to her timeless relevance. Scholars have approached Lilith from a variety of perspectives over time, exploring her complexity and the meaning she has acquired in different cultural, religious, and historical contexts. The figure of Lilith, although originating in ancient texts such as the alphabet of Ben Sira, has not been limited to a single interpretation. Here are some main approaches that scholars have adopted. Lilith's secrets are linked to her relationship with occult and sacred knowledge. In the alphabet of Ben Sira, she is described as being able to pronounce the ineffable name of God, which connects her directly to the divine, but also makes her dangerous, as she defies divine authority. Lilith is seen as a figure who rejects submission and fights for feminine autonomy, challenging patriarchal norms and representing women's freedom and empowerment. Another secret of Lilith lies in her connection with chaos and the unknown. She rejects established boundaries and symbolizes disorder, instinct, and intuition, going beyond traditional categories. In addition, Lilith is associated with the power of desire and sensuality, breaking with the norms of repression and sexual guilt imposed by patriarchal society. Lilith's secret also involves the search for authenticity and the breaking away from power structures. She defies categorization and is seen as a force that transcends the boundaries of good and evil, divine and demonic. Her archetype represents both disorder and the search for freedom and authenticity, showing that true freedom comes from the rejection of social impositions. Historical and religious perspective. Origin and biblical context. Lilith first appears in ancient Jewish sources, such as the alphabet of Ben Sira and the Babylonian Talmud, where she is described as Adam's first wife, created from the same clay as him. This perspective sees Lilith as a dissident figure who rejected submission and was therefore demonized. Ancient texts and interpretations. Some scholars believe that Lilith was an attempt to explain the religious and social fears of the patriarchal era. Her role of disobedience and departure from Eden was seen as dangerous and unruly, promoting the idea that rebellious women were threatening to the established order. Feminism and gender. Feminist symbolism. In more recent times, Lilith has come to be seen as a symbol of resistance and female empowerment. Feminist scholarship has rediscovered her as a figure who challenges patriarchal norms and can be read as an icon of freedom and autonomy. Lilith represents the refusal to accept roles defined by society, especially in relation to women. Challenges to submission and patriarchal authority. Feminist scholars often focus on Lilith as a symbol of disobedience and empowerment, arguing that she offers an alternative to traditional female subordination and suggests that women have the right to claim their freedom. Anthropology and archetypal psychology. The Lilith archetype. Some scholars, influenced by the analytical psychology of Carl Jung, see Lilith as a shadow archetype, a figure that represents the most primitive instincts, the forces of the unconscious, and the dark aspects of the human psyche. Lilith would be seen as the manifestation of the energies of chaos, sensuality, and rebellious independence. Wild and instinctive woman. In some studies, Lilith is interpreted as a wild woman, linked to nature, freedom, and the deconstruction of cultural and social norms. This links her to figures that represent the instinctive and undomesticated nature of women. Popular culture and post-modernity. Lilith in popular culture. With the advent of popular culture, Lilith found a new space in modern narratives, such as films, series, and literature, where she is seen as a powerful, mysterious, and ambiguous figure. Studies indicate that these representations reflect contemporary fears and desires, especially related to female autonomy and the fight against patriarchal norms. Contemporary interpretations. In contemporary scholarship, Lilith is often seen as a character who continues to challenge the boundaries between the divine and the human, chaos and order, woman and power. Religion and comparative mythology. Presence in other traditions. In addition to Judaism, Lilith also appears in other religious and cultural traditions, such as Islam and Mesopotamian cultures, which suggests a connection with figures of female disobedience in other religions. Some scholars have compared Lilith to figures such as Sumerian or Babylonian female deities who also symbolized female power and rebellion. Remembering that there are some points and views that still generate a lot of controversy, it is up to each person to seek their personal understanding. Lilith may be a mythical figure, but her story resonates with our search for freedom and identity. So, what does Lilith mean to you? Leave your comment below, share your opinion, and subscribe to the channel for more intriguing stories. See you later next.